this Inside America's Next Top Model documentary took me through it. Tyra Banks, you're a fucking piece of shit.
Welcome to the Asia Esterak Hour, where film meets conspiracy and pop culture gets a reality check. From sharp recaps to sci-fi theories and media deep dives, Asia Esterak serves it unfiltered. Let the binge begin.
All right, welcome back to the Asia Esterak Hour. I'm Asia Esterak. We doing a little impromptu video here in the car. Okay, so I watched Reality Check Inside America's Next Top Model, the documentary, last week. I actually watched it twice. I watched it again last night. I was going to do this whole like super formal review and break down each episode. Fuck all that. I want to talk about Tyra Banks' bitch ass. I'll start with this. So episode 1 basically covered how they got the show on the air. Tyra pitched to every network and everybody said no. Except for UPN, which was big when I was in high school. It actually came out when I was in high school and I think dissolved not too many years later. I graduated in 99. Anyway, but so it was interesting listening to her tell this labor of love story. She got the other executive producer, Ken Mock, who low-key is exactly like her. And she talks about this whole labor of love of getting it on the air and how she wanted to show the other side of the modeling industry and show that there's different types of beauty, not just what the magazines say. You know, bullshit. All the stuff that she really didn't do any damn way. I mean, she kind of did, but not without, you know, malice and ridicule. So this is what killed me. First of all, I'm wearing, I call this my April O'Neil, like, reporter dress. This is my little nod to Tyra. Can we talk about how she was fucking dressed? Why were you dressed like a journalist? Why were you dressed like Vicky Vale? Why were you dressed like April O'Neil? Bitch, why did you look like Carmen Sandy fucking Diego? Looking like Tyra San Diego in that outfit? Everything about her outfit, the wig, her demeanor was giving supervillain, and I don't give a fuck. What was crazy was to sit there and watch her be fake with the camera. It was like fake emotion, fake empathy. Tyra Banks, you're evil. You're evil. So anyway, so the first episode, we get through how it got on the air. We get through the whole audition process. And it's funny how people in this current generation are realizing 20-some years ago, we were way harsher with the way we dealt with each other, and even harsher if you go further back than that. But, which is probably why I have such a thick skin now, just because I grew up in that. But anyway, we ain't talking about me. But, so, this is what jumped out at me. So they interview the one girl, Shannon from Cycle 1, the girl Giselle from Cycle 1. I cannot believe I forgot her name. I loved her. The black chick that was the lesbian, real beautiful, dark skin, bald, gorgeous woman. And I feel horrible because I cannot remember her fucking name right now. But anyway, so we go through what they went through on the show. If y'all remember Shannon, she was very Christian, a virgin, and she said they just ran with that. And it's funny, they really did. I remember the episode where she had to do the naked shoot and she didn't want to do it. And they made a whole big deal about it. It's so crazy because when you go back and watch, you realize these motherfuckers were making these girls on this show compromise their morals and their boundaries for a fucking TV show. And what's sad is America's Next Top Model, I think in essence started off as a modeling competition, but then on the documentary episode 3, we find out it was just, you know, it was all about a TV show at that point. But I think a lot of people forget that reality TV, the clues in the name, is still a show. It's still a show that has to get ratings. It's still a show that has to produce. So it doesn't become about modeling. It becomes about the show and results and ratings. And who gives a fuck how you feel? Who cares how tired you are? We don't care if you're uncomfortable on this shoot. Like, it was crazy. The beautiful black woman, I cannot believe I can't remember her name. So we go through her whole story. She said she was disappointed in the show just off of the makeover, the way they just shaved her head and then were making comments about the texture of her hair. First of all, 2 white women over me making fun of the texture of my fucking hair. I don't give a fuck what show we're on. Bitch, both of y'all will get knocked the fuck out. One of these assholes on camera actually said, should we write our name in her hair? Fuck a show. Fuck that. Fuck these Hollywood people. We're seeing right now, these people ain't shit like that. No fucking way. I don't give a fuck. I would have went off. And I remember watching that live and getting mad. And it pissed me. Let me tell you something. This documentary pissed me off. Because Tyra Banks really ain't shit. And she seems to be okay with it. That's what's crazy to me. And I'm like, is she trolling us? Or does she really believe the bullshit that she's saying? I think it's a little bit of two. I'm digressing. I'm going to be all over the place with this. But this poor woman, she also said that, we're going back to the black woman, the lesbian chick that was the contestant. They exploited her relationship. And but actually I take that back. They didn't exploit her relationship. She was happy that there was queer representation on the show. And then they got to show her and her partner. I remember that was cute, especially when she did her girlfriend's hair. But she felt like she was treated differently. Did y'all peep this though? So when Tyra was talking about showing different types of beauty and what's beautiful, she's like, and now we're going to show you what else is beautiful. And that's when she shows the black woman, the lesbian black woman. I hate that I can't remember her damn name right now. That's going to drive me crazy. But I was just like, but she's pretty. Like, she was pretty from her audition tape. I was like, oh, that girl's gorgeous. She looks like a model. So for Tyra to say that was wild. I didn't like that. We get to the Latina chick Giselle that was on season 1, which I'll be honest, when I first watched that cycle 1 or whatever, I didn't think Giselle should have been on the show. She seemed more theatrical, like an actress. And it's funny, even them interviewing her now, very theatrical. Not in a bad way. I actually really like her. I thought her eyebrows are fabulous. Makes me want to try the little spike thing. But anyway, but she wasn't treated great, and she didn't realize it was going to be that type of documentary style. So when it did come out, she was not happy with the way that she was portrayed. They even showed them getting bikini waxes. Like, it was a lot. Also, we meet Jay Emanuel. We learn his role on the show and how he started off. Miss J, obviously. Nigel wouldn't come till later. But it was interesting. So they're talking about how the network didn't want certain chicks on the show. That girl Giselle had to be approved. And then later on, the network wanted a straight white male on the show. I guess to counteract the two gay melanated folks on the show. I don't know. I'll say this. I've worked in TV, and the studios do be, they are specific like that. It's irritating, but they are. But it was interesting in this part 1. So you see that we're seeing how Miss J and Jay Emanuel treated the girls. They were on some mean type shit too. Not as extreme as Tyra and later Janice Dickinson and other people that came on. But that Kelly Cutrone, that fucking bitch. Anyway, if y'all know, if you know who Kelly Cutrone is, then you know she's a fucking bitch. Just saying. Anyway, but it's funny to watch their journey. Like, I love them, but they weren't very nice to the girls either. And I know that this was 25 years ago. It was a different time. But it's interesting because even back then, I remember thinking, well, that wasn't very nice. That was kind of mean. But again, it's like everything gets pushed to the wayside when it's entertainment. So at the end of the end of the episode 1, we end on Shandy. Do y'all remember Shandy? I think she was like cycle 2 or 3. She was the real super skinny white girl who ended up cheating on her boyfriend in Italy. She ended up making out, and I don't know if she had sex with the guy, but one of the Italian male models that they did a shoot with, and it was also another naked shoot. First of all, Shandy looks totally different. She's not super skinny anymore. She is a full-grown woman. It was wild to see her. Still had a great disposition. I'm going to be honest with you. I could not watch this segment. And the fact that they ended the first episode with that. So if you don't know, Shandy gets really inebriated, ends up cheating on her boyfriend with one of the models. They showed the whole thing. And then they showed the aftermath of when she had to call her boyfriend and tell her, and he's cussing her out on the phone, called her a fucking bitch, a whore. Horrible. Horrible. So when we go into episode 2, they're showing all of that, and Shandy's talking about her experience. This is what pissed me off. So the cameras are filming all of this, and now they're making out in the bed, and then she admits she was blacked out. The network CGI'd a fucking condom in dude's hand. This is what kills me. Do the fucking camera people have no morals? I get we're on a show, and everything has to be, seen, but like, this dude is clearly taking advantage of her. She's drunk and shouldn't be fucking with dude. And he's on top of her in the bed, and y'all are still filming. Did not fucking like that. This is what really pissed me off. So then when they're interviewing Tyra Banks' bitch ass, fucking Pam Bondi acting fucking ass, she's like, oh, well, that's production. That has nothing to do with me. Bitch, you're the fucking executive producer. Bitch, you are the production. What are you talking about? This is why I couldn't film this in the house. What do you mean? What the fuck do you mean? She did that shit the entire 3 episodes. Everything was cast off to somebody else. This bitch took zero accountability. She actually thinks she did some good. It seems like you caused a lot of issues for a few girls. Now listen, at the end of the day, if you sign up for a fucking reality show, get ready for the fuck shit. Get ready for it. Expect it. Now, this show's 20-some years ago. The vibe is different. Reality TV wasn't as normalized as it is now. It wasn't as accepted back then as it is now. But here's the kicker. So we go through the Shandy thing. Tyra's like, whatever. Shandy's in a better place now. She said her and her boyfriend actually tried to work it out. It didn't work. They tried. It didn't work. Then we start getting to how they're sabotaging certain girls, picking shitty photos on purpose. The one girl, Kima, beautiful girl. She's a pose teacher now for modeling. But they kept harping on her being overweight. And that seemed to be the theme. And then when they got to Africa, she had to pose as the elephant. And she said she felt like she was being sabotaged. So we find out that it became more about the show and less about the competition. And Jay said he started to learn that Ken Mock, who's the other executive producer, real quick. Well, Ken Mock and Tyra were editing the show. They were storytelling through editing. They were doing it their way. Reality TV. Ken Mock, you're a fucking narcissistic ego piece of shit too. You're just like Tyra. So they talk about that heroin chic overdose photo shoot that they did at the fucking Alexander Hotel. That's the hotel in American Horror Story Hotel. When I lived in LA, I wouldn't walk past that bitch. I used to cross the street. Fuck that. But he was like, yeah, that was bad. Ken Mock, I shouldn't have done that. I gone too far. So what about Shandy? What about all the shit with Tiffany? Let's get to Tiffany. Tiffany is the girl, we were all rooting for you. That's the girl that she was yelling at. So the producer asked Tyra, what was one of your biggest regrets? She couldn't think of anything. And then the producer brings up Tiffany. Oh yeah, it was Tiffany. Bitch, you probably didn't even know who Tiffany fucking was. You probably didn't even remember her. This was really hard to watch. It was hard to watch. And then in the 3rd episode, when her and Jay stopped talking. So it was interesting. So they add Nigel. We learned about that in the 2nd episode. He was a great addition. He was like basically the straight man. And they brought up some of the comments that he made towards some of the girls. And he said, back then this was normalized. He's like, now obviously I would never say anything like that. I didn't like that he kind of didn't really take accountability for that. Like, you said some mean shit. I don't give a fuck if it was 20 fucking years ago. It was mean then and it's mean now. But anyway, I just didn't like that. They kept doing that. But so Jay wanted to leave the show. He talks about wanting to leave and advance his career and do something else. So he sends his resignation email to Tyra, and he said she wrote back 3 words: I am disappointed. So basically she starts treating him like he ain't shit. She won't talk to him unless they're filming it on camera. Off camera, doesn't say a word to him. And eventually the creative control that he had over the shoots and ideas, all that went away. That's when he started learning about the storytelling that Ken Mock, Tyra, and the other editors were putting together. And they would pick shitty photos on purpose. And he said at one point they would come up to him when they were doing photo shoots, basically telling them, like, we want this person to stay, so you need to coach this person more. It's crazy. And as somebody who was on the show, I wonder how they felt watching. I mean, imagine watching it back and learning all that. It's fuck. I'm sure they had an idea anyway. But overall, I loved America's Next Top Model when it was on. Apparently they're doing Cycle 25 next. But Tyra Banks is problematic, and now I'm going to drag the fuck out of you. First of all, you sat your fucked up ass, and you were just, yeah, oh, Jay, yeah, I should probably call him. Everything was condescending, pretentious, fake, no empathy. Bitch, she reminded me of Pam Bondi, child. Just didn't give a fuck. Didn't give a fuck. I would have respected her more if she sat there and said, you know what? I created the show. We made a show. We did what we had to do. I would have still talked shit, but I would have had more respect for that. The fact that you sat there and you're, oh, no, that was production that did that. That was production. Yeah. Like, are you okay? And what's funny is she gives me mean girl energy. She's nasty. That's not a nice person. And it seems like she took pleasure in treating these girls like shit. That's probably how she was treated when she first started off modeling as well. But what's crazy to learn that the relationships behind the camera soiled as well. The fact that she just dissed Jay, why would you get mad at him for wanting to advance his career? And then when he talked about how he felt like it was psychological torture of what she was doing to him. Yeah. Now I'll say this. Him, Miss J, and Nigel, I know they all felt some type of way when they eventually all got replaced. But again, to me, that was a little bit of karma because you guys were cool when y'all were cool doing it when Tyra was doing it. But again, when the rabbit gets the gun, it's a fucking problem. So I had lukewarm feelings on that because I'm like, Jay, now, Miss J having a stroke and not being able to walk, that killed me. And in the last episode, it was really sweet. They showed Jay, Manuel, and Nigel going to visit Miss J. I mean, I love those three. I loved America's Next Top Model, but I'm just trying to figure out why Tyra Banks... Actually, no, she has an ego and she wants to be seen. That's why she sat her goofy, crooked ass and agreed to do this. She's a fucking piece of shit. That bitch is evil as fuck. And anybody out in Australia that, actually I take that back, anybody that deals with her on a personal level, what's that like? What's that like? She gave me Stepford wife, serial killer energy, just the way she was just fucking creepy. Anyway, if you haven't watched Reality Check Inside America's Next Top Model, it's on Netflix. It's 3 episodes. It's really good. Vice is doing their own as well with other ladies, especially that Lisa D'Amato. They're doing one as well that's going to get a little deeper and a lot darker. This was good. Tyra Banks is evil fucking cunt bag from the depths of hell. Fuck her. And that's it. They're probably like, where the hell is Asia? Anyway, let me get back in here. You guys be great. Stay hydrated, stay nice, stay warm. I'm going to go return these videotapes.